Good evening, everyone, and welcome to This Week from Rockdale. And I am your host, Larry Cox. And it's great to have each and every one of you joining me tonight. And I am going to start off by saying hello in the chat to a lot of you good folks. And I'd like for each and every one of you to share and like the show so we can build a little audience here tonight. And I was going to tell you, I really don't have a lot to talk about tonight. Just going to talk about some reflection of some stuff that's on my mind. But let's go ahead and say hello to some people so we can get this going and share, like the show, and we'll see what happens. Charlotte Geller, welcome to the show. William Campbell, welcome to the show. Tina Hobbs, Dan Burks, The Fit Life with Danielle Munoz. Welcome to the show, Danielle. Jill Odom, welcome to the show. Angela Esperero, welcome to the show. Thanks, guys, for joining me tonight on This Week from Rockdale. As usual, I am your host, Larry Cox, and it's great to be here tonight to share my thoughts and actually, hopefully, get some of your thoughts on the chat tonight. That's what I'm going to hope we get tonight is some things from you, so that we can really talk about what's going on in the community, what you think needs to be talked about, so we can do that. What's up, Alex? Great to have you on the show tonight. Joey Williams. Yeah, I want to start the show out tonight by talking about, just this past week's been a very busy week at work and just some things going on. And my wife and I did a couple of concerts this weekend, and, really busy. But one thing is I was doing a lot of things in Rockdale County this week and, in my interaction and driving around. And I just really, this week, I guess, is the first time I really, really paid attention to all the building that's going on in Rockdale County and just all the woods that are being torn down and just the apartments and the townhomes and just it's really become reality of how it's changing the shape of what I refer to as like more central Rockdale and and how I think you know we can never unchange that. Alex, I think you made a comment last week that what they were doing, it's going to take you 2 hours to be able to get to the interstate at some point to even get to it. I mean, it's going to be a 2 hour trip to Atlanta because of what's going on in the central hub of Rockdale County. And, I think now as we see what this looks like and this development, it may, it's just horrible. And as William Campbell said, and I talked to Bill about this today too, and Bill had mentioned we've not seen the worst of it yet because this is just the beginning of the build, and we've not even started. That wait till they begin that project in Old Town to do their administrative project. Not even going to call it a courthouse project anymore, people. I'm going to call it what it is. If 65% of the building and the funds and such are for an admin uh, building and admin facilities for the BOC, then let's call that horse what it is. It's an admin project. So when they start that admin project in Old Town, and that project is the project that I think will destroy Old Town Conyers. It will stop businesses. Those people that own business in Rockdale up in Conyers, they know it. I mean, a project of that magnitude, closing streets down, closing Millstead down, a direct access to the hospital. You're going to have to circle around. That is just mind-boggling. That what is going on in Rockdale County and the change that has happened to uh, it's just going to be crazy. It is going to be absolutely insane. And when you look at it now, I mean, I look at it now as I'm driving and I'm looking at all this stuff popping up, all these, and let's just talk about it. Most of these things are empty too, guys. I mean, some of them have been built for a while. And, these things are empty. People are not flooding to fill these 300,000 plus townhomes and apartments. And I seen some on Flat Shoals today where they've got the signs in leasing now. Um, I mean, what do you lease? What's the lease payment going to be in those things? And who's going to lease them at whatever extravagant amount they're going to try leasing them for? And they said they were 300,000 plus uh, uh, facilities. I mean, buildings. I mean, homes. I mean, it's just crazy to think that people in Rockdale County are going to be able to, afford, this. It's crazy. I mean, so most people probably got their tax bill the other day, and it wasn't as bad as you thought it was going to be because you've got the governor's one-time credit on there, and you got your host, and you've got all these things on there. But guys, as I was looking at this thing, and my mortgage company already raised my mortgage because of what they're going to have to uh, uh, you know do for my taxes, and I looked at it, and that thing got about $100 hit this year because they know what it's going to be next year, right? They know what my tax bill is going to be next year because they know I'm not going to get these credits and all this and that. And so I'm going to have a little bit of a, credit this year because it's not going to take everything because of everything, the credits applied toward it. But next year, man, that's when the piper comes due. That's when you don't have all these one-time credits and this and that goes against that bill. And you're going to feel the impact of the tax increases next November. That's when you're going to feel those impacts. You're going to feel them next year and the year after. That's when you're going to feel all that's going to come crumbling down on you when you get 100% increase of what you paid this year over last year. Now that's going to happen to you. It is definitely going to happen to you. Uh, this is just crazy, guys. I mean, I look at it, I'm just amazed at it. I'm amazed that these folks allowed this to happen. It is crazy. So, I mean, I don't think people, I was at an event this week, and and people were talking about why they moved to Rockdale and talked about the community that it is. I don't even think these individuals are aware of the community that Rockdale is going to be. And you can't turn back time and undo the damage that they've done to Central Rockdale right now. I think the best we can do is hopefully stop this nonsense from going to North and South Rockdale. Um, I mean, I don't want this stuff over in South Rockdale where I live. I do not want all this crazy building and all this, high density stuff. I mean, it is just ridiculous. Plus, I mean, we're on sewer over here. A lot of people have well water, same as in North Rockdale. And, guys, this is just absolutely crazy when we see them just stuffing these things in, and we just see all these forest and wooded areas just being demolished and coming down. It is crazy. Charlotte Gellert, 5 commissioners would help, and this is where 5 commissioners would help, is because you would have individuals representing um, these different portions of Rockdale and saying enough's enough, as citizens speak out and say enough is enough. I mean, it's very apparent that the people in Rockdale County want this to be a bedroom community. I mean, guys, I mean, I think they want to do that rock quarry up in North Rockdale, and the people up in North Rockdale, they don't want a rock quarry. They want just a community where people can have some houses and live in peace. And it's interesting. I mean, the elected officials who have got elected to represent you have actually failed to represent you. Because if they would go and actually go to these town halls that that a lot of the people in this room attend with me, you'll find out that most people move to Rockdale County because they want that peace and quiet and silence of a country area right outside the city. They don't want you to bring the city to them. Uh, uh, they want you to. They want you to. They want you to uh, leave the country, and they're fine going to the city. Uh, Charlotte says quality of life is not a legal reason to deny rezoning per constitutional rights. Charlotte, they have found even less reasons, or given no reasons to deny or to change zoning. So, I think if we make something that's going to be residential, and somebody wants to bring a rock quarry in, I mean, let's first of all, let's just get something. I am not anti-mining. I'm actually pro-mining. Uh, I actually come from a mining community, um, so I've actually grown up and see where mining and the community work together and balance the environment. So, I mean, and if anybody's ever visited my home state of West Virginia, you will see that mix where uh, we are actually proud of our mining heritage, and we find a way to coexist. So, just be honest with you, if my personal thing, I don't really have a problem with the quarry and the mine, but the people in that community do, and they don't want a quarry and a mine. I'm a quarry there. So I mean, that's my take on it. Is me personally, I do not have a problem with it. But let's just say if I would be if I was one of the people in that community, probably would not have a problem with it, because I come from a place where we coexisted with the mining industry, and to me it would not be an inconvenience, because I had family and friends and neighbors, and everybody who, that's how they made a living, was in the mining industry. So I don't have an issue with the mining industry, per se, but people in that area do, and they don't want it. And that's the thing about it. Bill Campbell. Let me just tell you, I was actually going to go here this evening with this, right? So I'm going to put it up here. The city of Conyers is going down, and will take the rest of the county with it. So this is my whole take in a nutshell. For too long, we have given the city of Conyers a pass, and they do some things right, but they do a hell of a lot wrong. And the majority of this high density housing and apartments and complexes that we see going up right now, the majority are within the city limits of Conyers. And they've approved. Now, they've got some city elections coming up, and they've got some incumbents that are up for election, and there's some challengers on the ballot, um, challenging those folks. So I actually recommend that any of you voters that live within the city boundaries, why don't you get out and talk to some of these folks that are going to run for these offices, and find out if they agreed with and approved of these high density housing, if they approved of putting a liquor store on every corner and a tattoo parlor. I mean, I got nothing against tattoos. Everybody in my family's got tattoos out the wang wang, right? But I don't know. Come on, guys. I mean, that's not economic development. Those businesses are not economic development. A rock quarry, that's actually economic development. Just so that that is actually the type of thing that you in a that would be an economic development tool for a community. But this is the thing about it. And I think Alex, you and I've talked about this before. It's like everybody in Rockdale, they're against everything, and I've really not found something yet that they're for. And that's a realistic outlook at it. So when you look at it and you see what the people in the community want, they really just want it to be a bedroom community. And people talk about wanting these, these stores and outlets and all this stuff and everything. When you're not going to get all those and just have a bedroom community. And you've got to look at the land mass and the availability of utilities and such in Rockdale County. Rockdale County is just not. Um, it's not what do they say? It's perfectly positioned. It's not perfectly positioned to bring these kind of things here. It's not. It's not perfectly positioned with our small land mass, with our utility and infrastructure being gobbled up for these townhomes and apartments in the centralized area of the county, right off of I-20. Guys, it's not perfectly centered or perfectly positioned as one of the county mottos is. It's just not. And that's the reality of it. And, um, the county, and the city, they like to, they're spin doctors. They like to spin these things, um, to make it appear as, uh, so it's crazy. So I do want to put Alex's comment up here a minute ago about the quality, because I agree with you wholeheartedly, Alex. Quality of life is absolutely a reason. That's why they don't allow heavy industrial mixed with residential. So you know, um, we've just got to look at what's going on in this county. Yeah, Alex, that man, preach to the choir, baby. Preach to the choir. Preach to the choir. Right, look at this one. Folks want all this new retail while they shop on Amazon. You say you want the brick and mortar, but when you support the online shopping as heavily as we do, and I'm going to include me in it too, and because all of us do, um, then brick and mortar doesn't have a chance, guys. Brick and mortar, it's very difficult to compete with online. It really, really is. It is difficult for brick and mortar to compete with online, and the more we shop online, the more difficult it is for the brick and mortar establishments to stay in business, because they've got to pay to exist physically. Um, a lot of these online things, they use warehouses. They ship from here to there, and they don't have the same expenses that a brick and mortar does. So we've got to remember what when we're asking for everything, and the reality is you can't get everything. That's reality. You're not going to get everything. So we as individuals have to realize that our choices and things that we do also determine our fate and what we get in a community. So, guys, I'm just telling you. I mean, take a drive in Rockdale. Take a drive in Rockdale. Take a drive in Rockdale. Take a drive down 138. Take a drive off of Flat Shoals. I mean, just take a drive in that centralized area of Rockdale, 5 miles off of I-20. Just drive around and look. If you've not driven around in a while, or if you've just not paid attention, pay attention on that drive. It's crazy, Alex. This is accurate. Rockdale will be fast food and gas station. That's it. I unfortunately agree. And when you want to talk, and that's why people who live here will work somewhere else, because when you have like just service industry economy, can't sustain itself. You have to actually make something, build something, produce something. If you don't make, build, produce, a service industry economy will end up folding in on itself, because nobody's producing something to keep that economy afloat. So Rockdale County is, what they from what I remember statistically being said, that 80% of the people who live in Rockdale County and work don't work in Rockdale County. They work outside of Rockdale County. So that would leave 20% of the people who have a job actually work in within the county. And we don't even have individuals that work. Most people who work for the county, government employees, they don't. In that same number, it'll be 80% don't work. I mean, don't live in Rockdale County. I was at an event this week, and there were several people there, and they mentioned something about maybe I'd like to go to one of these organizational meetings that's in the morning time here in Rockdale County. And I said, well, I don't think that would work out well for me because some people that are on that board might not care for me. And I think the board has to approve them to become members of the organization. And they said, yeah, that's accurate. And I said, well, person A and person B, I know are on that board. And I said, I don't think they would support me being a member of your organization. And they said, well, why wouldn't they? I said, well, I did this little show. And then sometimes I talk about an organization they've both belonged to in the past. Neither one are members of the organization anymore. But I have been very critical of that organization, Board of Education. And I said, I don't think that they would support me being, or want me to be a member of your club. And they said, and next time you talk to me a little further. And I said, I do this little show on Sundays called This Week from Rockdale, and there were 4 or 5 other people at the table. There was about 10 people at the table, and a couple of people said, "Oh my God, you're that guy!" It was hilarious when they figured out who I was. They figured out that I was Larry Cox from This Week from Rockdale, and several of them were county employees, and it was like, "Oh, you're that guy." And it was very interesting when, just their response. And I had interaction with them. I explained my position on things, explained my position on disagreeing with the board of commission and the things that they do, my disagreement with the board of education and why I don't agree with about the things they do, and my disagreement with the city and the things that they do. So it was very interesting, guys. So yeah, so it was crazy. But that's the thing about it is what we see is, you know, Rockdale County is a small community. And as a small community, we've got to decide what's best for Rockdale County. And we really need to just stick it in there and say, these things that are happening right now don't need to continue to happen. And I think we've got to remember, guys, and we've just got to know that you can't undo the damage that we've done in the city of Conyers and in Central Rockdale. That damage is forever. But what I would like to see is, let's stop the spread of the damage. Let's stop that damage from infiltrating North and South Rockdale. Well, let's say enough's enough. Let's keep our peaceful county, or the pieces of the county that are peaceful, and then let's do our best to mitigate and to have good law enforcement and good fire protection and good stuff for that high density area that we've just made a mess of. Let's manage that the best we can, but let's not destroy the rest of the county. How do we do that? How do we stop the destruction? We stop the destruction by first not reelecting Oz Nesbitt and Sherry Washington. That truly is the first steps. Is defeating Oz Nesbitt and Sherry Washington in the upcoming May primary. And that means all Rockdale County citizens, regardless of what political affiliation you align with, voting in the Democrat primary in May to assure that Sherry Washington and Oz Nesbitt do not come out of that primary and walk through and just, into a general election victory. because even if someone would oppose them in the general election victory, the numbers aren't there. The Democrat is going to win. So whatever person emerges from the Democrat primary in May is going to be the office holder when it comes down to November. What else can we do? We can look at the Board of Education. The Board of Education is very important in this county as far as the taxes that they do. Okay. The education that we provide. We need to elect new members to that board so that we can begin a new direction for education in Rockdale County. That's what we need to do. That's what we need to do. Of course, I'm going to agree with Alex on this. I think as part of our problem in Rockdale County is our government entities they start off by building all these parks and these things. And what we've got to realize is, government can't do everything. And these entertainment things, that needs to be private sector. And for that to be attractive in Rockdale County, then we've got to really reflect and see, what do we want Rockdale County to be? We just can't keep throwing tax dollars and think that's going to change the outcome. It's not going to change the outcome. Those need to be private sector functions. If we want to get those things in Rockdale County, we need to have a better community. We need to have a community that attracts those things, not just us taxpayers go off and build something. And let's look at anything that Rockdale County has ever built that I know of in the last 50 years. Wasn't around here 50 years ago, but I see the things that they've built in the last 50 years. Not one single thing, and Alex, I'd like you to jump in on this too. Not one single thing they've built have they maintained. So if they build it, it's going to come dilapidated, not taken care of, because they have no monies in their budgets after they build it to maintain it. That's just fact. The government, the reason they want to build, tear down and rebuild their admins and other things is because they've had buildings, but they've not maintained the building. Corliss, you know what? You're talking about that amphitheater in Stockbridge. Man, they don't do a whole lot of shows over there, and I would love to look at the books over there to actually see if that venue actually pays for itself. I don't see how it can. I'm just being real. I've actually been to concerts at that facility, and it's a nice facility now because it's just been built. But it wouldn't surprise me if the city of Stockbridge eventually doesn't have the same problem that we do in Rockdale County. They build these things and you don't have the money to maintain it. I doubt that amphitheater actually finances itself. They don't have enough. They don't have enough shows over there. When I've looked at it, because I've looked, to see what's going on, maybe to go watch something or whatever. And there's just not enough activity at that amphitheater to pay for them. That is a nice amphitheater. It is. Oh yeah. Yeah. I've seen Patti LaBelle and others there, but you don't have 10, 12 shows a year and think that's going to pay for something. I mean, they may have a couple events a month. I mean, a facility like that costs a lot of money. It's only 3,600 seats. So it's not a lot of seating. You just have to look at it from the dollar standpoint. I just don't think that was a very wise decision that they did in Stockbridge. Alex, you're right. The Gwinnett Arena, I went to the Gwinnett Arena last night. There were over 10,000 people. It was sold out. But it's difficult to operate one of those facilities And you're right, they operate at a loss. Costly meal. These guys bought costly meal. They do whatever. Alex, you've actually done a show about costly meal. You showed the money. You showed all this stuff to folks, and you actually showed them that costly meal is never going to be able to make a profit and actually pay for itself. I think you've shown that before on a show that you and I have done. You broke those numbers down, and that's when it comes right down. When government operates these facilities, they do not operate them to even break even. They lose money. And I agree with you. I mean, the Gwinnett Arena is the perfect example of one of the most successfully run government owned facilities that still loses money. And that's just the way it is. Government is not designed to make a profit. Government is not designed to make a profit. The best case we can hope for is government to break even. They don't break even. So, guys, I'm just telling you right now. So, we've really got to watch what we ask for in Rockdale County as citizens. Uh, Alex, this is exactly. I'm going to put that reminder. They want to give the appearance of prosperity and success, but it's all funded by taxpayers in the shadows, and that's accurate. They want to give the appearance of success, of prosperity, but everything can look successful and prosperous when it's your tax dollars, an unlimited source, the way they look at it, funding all the toys and experiments they want to try. And that's what you got to look at, guys. Our county government is not doing nothing but experimenting with your money. That's all it is. It's a daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly experiment. They experiment with your tax dollars 365, 24 hours a day. It is a big experiment. And the thing about their experiment doesn't have to succeed, doesn't have to show positive results. They can keep doing it, not keep doing it, keep losing money at it. It doesn't matter because the source doesn't dry up. Your tax dollars, they don't dry up. And then if they need more, what do? We saw it this year. They needed more. So what did they do? They raised the millage rate and they take more. They pretend that your property is worth more. They raise the value of your property so they can tax you more. That's what they do. It's a game. And now this is why 1,000%. This is why they do anything to avoid revenue bonds, because they would have to actually make money. 100%. They do that. They don't want accountability. Alex, that's right. They don't know how to make money. I said it a little kinder than you. They raise your tax. They pretend to your property value, but you're right. They steal your money. Uh, you know, we had a party in the United States a few hundred years ago about this. It was called the Boston Tea Party. And they ran taxation without representation. So we've got to look at what's going on in America now. You're being taxed into poverty with representation, and that's a reality, guys. We're being taxed so heavily right now, and it's just ridiculous what we pay for, what we're expected to finance. Um, that is crazy. It is absolutely crazy what we're expected to finance in this country. It's crazy what local government, county government, state government, federal government. Everybody has they don't have their hand out. They've got their hand in and they're just pulling it out. They don't have their hand out. They've got their hand in your pocket and they're just extracting those dollars. That's exactly what they're doing. I mean, they actually have their hand in your pocket before you get it. They get your money before you get your money. Now, just tell me how that even sounds anywhere near fair, right, or what we perceived many hundreds of years ago as a concept of something we wanted to happen. That the government would get your money before you got it. Isn't that the perfect way, to make sure they can do what they want to do because they get paid first? It is absolutely crazy, people. It is absolutely insane that this kind of crap is happening. Alex, I don't know if you saw this or not, but the DOT, the Georgia DOT director, makes over $500,000 a year. The Georgia director of DOT makes over $500,000 a year. A public servant, civil servant. Governor doesn't even make 200 grand a year, and you've got the director of the DOT, and he doesn't do a lot anymore. The way they've got it set up, it's all contracted out. Everybody making decisions, just a figurehead position, and this character is making over $500,000 a year. And there's even question. I've talked to contractor friends of mine. Half of them don't even feel the guy's qualified. Doesn't even feel the guy's qualified to do the job. And getting $500,000 a year. We can do better in Rockdale County, and it starts on election day. It starts on election day in May. Actually, could start on election day in November for the city elections if you get your friends in the city, because not a lot of people are going to. Usually under 1,000 people vote in the city of Conyers. Let's get 2,000 people to vote in the city of Conyers and get that extra 1,000 to go out and vote against incumbents. What a glorious day that would be to upset that apple cart and throw people out of office. Talk to your friends, talk to your neighbors if you live in the city of Conyers. Get them to go back out and vote against incumbents. Because all this stuff that's being built is being built mainly in the city of Conyers right now. So, guys, we can make a difference in this county. We start that difference one vote at a time. One voter at a time. Let's make a difference in Rockdale. Let's vote these people out of office. Yep, Alex, you're right. He has made the chairman made the decision that the county employees need to be the highest paid, and I don't even think the county. I think in the state, in the country, as far as that goes for their positions. But we don't need to have that. And I think whoever I think we need a demand of Oz and Brian Jenkins who are running. Brian Jenkins and Ahmad who are running to take those seats. But they need to pledge to us that they're going to remove some of those high-paid individuals out of those offices and put some more moderate-paid salaries in there. They can do that. That's what we need to do. Talking about paid holidays, I guess they just invented a new one. So in Columbus, you got an option this year. Apparently, you can either call Columbus Day or Indigenous People Day. Indigenous People Day or Columbus Day, and the county, it's a new paid holiday that they get off. So that's just crazy, right? But that's just another give back, right? Another give back, guys. Let's take this county back, one vote at a time, one voter at a time. Let's not vote for any incumbents. Let's vote for challengers. Let's vote to put new people in office for a new beginning for Rockdale County. new people in office for a new beginning. And that starts with the city, the county, and the Board of Education. I ask you all to think about it, and I ask you all to just pray about it. Because the decisions you make at that ballot box are going to impact Rockdale County and your and my future. Well, I didn't intend to talk this long tonight. Didn't think I would be on this long tonight, but we had good conversation in the chat, and I just ran my mouth. And you guys know I know how to run my mouth, and I did that pretty good tonight. I ran my mouth pretty good tonight. So, guys, I thank each and every one of you for joining me, and I thank you in advance for joining me for my race for Post 1 Board of Education, where I intend to be one of the most unique elected officials in the state of Georgia, if not the United States of America. So, guys, until next week, I look forward to seeing each and every one of you right here next Sunday, 8 p.m. this week from Rockdale. Take care and have a great week.